think I've been talking to y'all and you have not been able to hear me. So if that's the case, I apologize. I'm kind of new to this, so I think I hit the wrong button. Oh my God, I'm so annoyed with myself. So I'm going to start again. Welcome to the Black White Lib. If I'm recording again, I apologize. I think my mic was off. But welcome to the Black White Lib. We're going to be here Saturdays at 9 o'clock. I encourage you all to follow me on social media. Follow me on Twitter. I'm the Black White Liberal, but on Twitter I'm the Black White Lib, and on Facebook I'm BW Lib. And so I'll be adding those links. I encourage you to follow me. I'll be putting some different content out, probably some blogs and things like that, just to be able to put information out there that's useful, that's funny. This is stuff so crazy. I feel like you have to laugh instead of cry, if you can. So I apologize about the mic earlier, and we're back. And so we're like, again, I'm just going to say we're talking about whether Trump should concede. Does it even matter? Do we need him to concede? I kind of feel like we don't. The world seems to be moving on. The less attention we pay to Donald Trump, the better. He's filed lawsuits in several states, and a lot of those states he is losing. Every now and then he wins a little something, but I've been watching, and a lot of those he's losing. And so people basically know that it's over, except for him. He's still fighting it, and they say that he has different plans, but we're just going to talk about what's the implication of that. What's the implication of continuing to fight? Is it hurting us? Is it helping us? So we're just going to be discussing a lot of that stuff. So let's start with the obvious. I think the cons are kind of the obvious, right? And I want to encourage you, go ahead, leave a comment. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm not here just to talk to myself. I'm willing to debate with anybody else. Any conservatives out there that feel like, you want all the smoke, I'm here. You can go ahead and leave a comment and we can start talking. So I'll go ahead and kick it off by talking about the things that I feel like are the cons of him not conceding. And we don't need you to concede, because as you can see, pack your shit, Donald Trump. It's time for you to vacate the White House. But in the meantime, he's kind of acting like he doesn't want to, or that he's going to continue to fight. They say that he doesn't want to concede and that he would never give up. Anyway, I have opinions about that, but that's what they say, that he doesn't want to give up, and that he I'm sorry, I'm just going to make sure this is correct. I had to look at something real quick. Like I said, this is new, so I apologize. So some of the things that I feel like are a problem with, him refusing to concede are, I feel like, some obvious things. The first one is he isn't sharing information with the incoming administration. So that's what they've been talking about this week. The first day or so, it was like, okay, he's not really sharing information, but Joe Biden already knows what the bathrooms are. It's all good. He'll come around. And unfortunately, it's been now, how long has it been? A week, I think. And they said he's not getting presidential daily briefings. And so there's things going on in the government that normally someone would be bringing the other president, the new incoming administration, up to speed on. Around this time last year, Barack Obama had already met, not last year, 2016, Barack had already met with Donald Trump and was telling him these things. But here, they're not really giving access to the Biden-Harris team. And so that's definitely a problem. They're like, that's kind of leaving us at risk. They're not on the up and up on what's going on. And I don't know if y'all remember, but this time last year, I think Michael Flynn was already having conversations with Russia. So, people like to get in and go ahead and start making their contacts and make things happen. I don't know all the conversations, but by this time in 2016, the Donald Trump administration was already starting to break the law. So, they're just not even giving the Biden administration a chance to get in and start to do any work or anything like that. They're kind of keeping them at arm's reach. And that's just dangerous for national security. And it's just not good for the country. It's not good to try to bring the country together, and he's clearly not trying to bring the country together, because you are not, telling everybody and telling people to rally behind and admitting defeat, even though it's clear. The other thing that I think is a real con to this whole thing is that McConnell and his little merry band of Mitches, or whatever they want to call each other, the Republican leadership, they are not standing up for democracy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I feel like Donald Trump has completely exposed Republican leadership. You know, he completely runs them. He's like the little kid in the store who is running the fuck out of his parents, you know what I'm saying? And you're just recording it and sending it to the shade room so they can get all the public shame and scrutiny that they deserve. Like, that's who they are. We are watching them in the Walmart fighting with their toddler who is running them, and they just have no say in it. When I look at Mitch McConnell and the Republicans, that's what I see. And you know what? And the thing that's sad is they have to do it because they have no power. They have no power. Donald Trump has all the power in that party. And so they are parents letting their kids have ice cream for dinner every day because they have no power in that house. The kid runs the house. And, you know, I absolutely, for 1 second, do not believe that Mitch McConnell does not believe that this is harming the country by not surrendering, by Donald Trump not waving the white flag and just admitting what's going on and continuing to create this division. And all they care about is holding on to that power, right? That's all they want to do. And because of that, they're going to lose even bigger than they think. Because the little appearance of power that they have is not with them, it's with Donald Trump. And he's gonna throw them under the bus because it's not about the Republican Party, it's about Donald Trump. So they're trying to hold on to that little bit of power, but it's not going to be worth it. And you know, when we talk about the things that are wrong with what he's doing, just imagine if the incoming administration didn't have the level of experience that Joe Biden has. You know, Kamala Harris has been AG of one of the largest states. I think the largest state is almost like, if it was a country, it would be like one of the largest countries in terms of economy. And so, you know, she has experience, and she didn't run the economy, don't get me wrong. She was a senator, though. And so the amount of experience that they had. And if anybody else was coming in that didn't have, if anybody else was coming in that didn't have that level of experience, would this be okay what Donald Trump is doing? Like, it's I feel like manageable for people because Joe Biden has so much experience, and the people that they're going to bring around them are probably going to, you know, have experience, I'm sure. And it's going to be like, okay, the adults are back in the room, things are managed and considered when we make choices. And so I think that calms people down. But what if it was like another outsider like Donald Trump, and they weren't letting them get started because he's throwing tantrums because he doesn't believe that he's lost? Again, I just, you know, you lost because of things like this. Like, just because you just exasperate people, on top of just the language, on top of policy disagreements. It's just too much. So I just don't understand how we're letting him do something like this, because if it was any other administration, I think there'd be more concern. And it should be concerned, because I haven't traveled out of the country a whole lot, but when I did, I realized how big the freaking world is and how powerful and in control we must be to be able to manage all that and to be able to wield enough influence to be able to control and be a leader in the world. And, you know, I don't know how our leaders aren't thinking about this. I mean, where are they looking at this and being like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, we like the way it's going over in America? I mean, the majority. There are minorities. I'm sure there's fringe groups in different places, nationalist groups in different places who want to do that in their own country. But in terms of this is upholding the ideals of democracy, where do they do that at? Not here. Not normally. So I just feel like Trump is undermining the democratic process. He's been doing it since 2016 election, when he said that he wouldn't accept the results if he lost. How is this any different? I don't know. It's not. You know, the Republican leadership is standing back and standing by like they're one of the Proud Boys. And maybe they are. Maybe that's what's going on because I just don't understand what else it could be. And so that takes like to the other concern that I had about him dragging the shit out. Um, Half the voters in this, of the people who voted, half came out and voted for Trump, and that makes me want to take a freaking shower. Because that means that a large portion of the country is okay with racism, homophobia, xenophobia. I mean, even if you have personal feelings, but you're willing to let that be part of policy. And I thought that that was bad enough, but it also feels like you have a portion within that group who not only rail against socialism, but it almost to me, right? This is just me. It feels like they are standing up and protesting for fascism, which I know that sounds crazy, but I just look at it and be like, what the hell's wrong with these people? Because, you know, do they just not know what fascism is? Are they so obsessed with socialism they ain't got time to research other isms? Like, I feel like you can see where things are going. Like, I don't understand how you can see the slippery slope of homosexuality and or passing, some kind of law. You can see the slippery slope of that, but you can't see the slippery slope of letting the president undermine democracy. And even if, yes, there might be cases of fraud here and there, overwhelmingly, that's not what's going on. Overwhelmingly, statistically speaking, even in this election, statistically speaking, the numbers are not enough to make a change. So, so when I look at it, we were talking about fascism. And, people use words they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Sometimes I do that. We all do that. So let's look at it. And I want to start by talking about Antifa. And the person always says, Antifa, Antifa. I got a comment about why he always got his mouth open when he say that, but we're going to keep it moving. So, Antifa literally stands for anti-fascist. And that means that these people will do any and everything they can to keep from letting this orange wannabe dictator from making this a fascist country. But what does that mean? So, like, what is fascism? Right? Because we all just say it, socialism, fascism, ism. Wikipedia basically says it's a far-right movement that puts one country or group ahead of the others. And in a way, it's like, oh, okay, well, hey, America first. What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But then it says that it's also characterized by forcible suppression of opposition. This sounds a little Trumpish. I feel like Trump openly attacks the media, openly attacks people who he deems as his enemies, whether they are civilians, whether they are military. He will openly attack and criticize and demonize, and in a way just kind of create a wave or like an atmosphere of, and I know that probably doesn't make sense, an atmosphere of oppression, but that's kind of how I see it. So I feel like that, that kind of sounds a little bit heading in that direction. One of the things that bothered me about him getting a second term was him having retribution on people that he feels like were against him or his enemies, people who are citizens of this country. That made me very uncomfortable with the idea of him having a second term. So anyway, beyond those two things, as far as putting one group or country ahead of another, forcible suppression of opposition, they also want to behave like a dictator. And to me, I'm like, oh shit, that's kind of hitting close to home. Recently, Trump actually replaced several people in the Pentagon, including the Secretary of Defense. And this is 2 months before he has to transfer power to Joe Biden. So, like, what the fuck? That makes me uncomfortable. Now, granted, a couple of those people that he had to replace, they did resign in protest of the whole resigning of Mike Esper, but they've been replaced with loyalists. And that's the issue, is that in all these positions, even at this time, it's all loyalists. So if he wants to keep fighting or if he decides to do something crazy, who's to say that he can't? I think it bothers me that more than people voting for this man is him encouraging people to go down this slippery slope. And the leadership encouraging it. And I think that it's short term because I think they're trying to hold on to their power. And because historically, with fascism, power is held by a political regime. But they say that that can easily slippery slope give way to an autocracy, which is like you have a dictator, one person who's in control, not a party who's in control, but one person who's in control. And so, the Republicans, I feel like, are trying to stay really close to him because he has the power. But it's not about the Republican Party, it's about Donald Trump. That's who Donald Trump cares about, Donald Trump. So they need to, I think what they're doing is unwise, and I think what they're doing is very dangerous. So it's just a crazy time right now. It's crazy, but I'm ready for him to get the fuck out. I'm ready for them to pack their bags, GSA, move them to wherever they need to move. And that's just completely real. And you know what? There are actually some pros about um, this stuff that they're doing. There's a lot of comedy gold in like the reports. I've been reading some of the transcripts from the cases. Unfortunately, like some of the law firms, they've kind of been catching flack for even taking these cases. But the things that they get up and say, um, it's laughable. They were trying to admit hearsay, and the judge is like, clearly this is hearsay. Like she heard this, somebody else told her what they heard, and they wrote something down on a post-it, and that's your evidence. And they'd be like, but she actually handed her the post-it. And it's like, okay, but she didn't hear it. And that's the person that you have here. You don't have the name of the person who gave her the post-it. Yeah, but the person that she gave the post-it to is here. Okay, that's hearsay. Why? What about this are you not understanding? Literally, that's like the judges how they're talking to them. Like, what about this are you not getting? We both have legal degrees here. We both know the basics. And even sometimes where they said, well, they did this with these ballots. Okay, but when it was brought up, they put these ballots to the side and didn't count them, correct? Well, yes, and the count is ahead by 40,000, correct? Well, yes, and how many ballots, and this is the largest county in the state? 592. And they didn't count the ballots as part of the 60,000 that they're ahead. No, but there's just a problem. We're just showing that a problem had occurred. But when it came up, they separated the ballots like they were supposed to and didn't count them. Right? Yes, that's true. And this is not anywhere near a significant amount of ballots to actually change the outcome that happened in this state, correct? Well, yes, that's true. What? So it's like, what are you even doing in court? And you're having to pay for this. This is not cheap. These are expensive legal funds. I don't know who out there is donating to the Trump Legal Defense Fund or the Trump Debt Relief Fund, his legal fund, but this is not cheap. And they got these lawyers in here on some bullshit. And it's really about delaying because I saw one where they rejected it and they said that there was not enough evidence and they were going to dismiss the case and they had 21 days to appeal. 21? That's taking us into December. This is all about delay. This is all about not going to jail. That's what this is all about. And like I said, the campaign is broke. They're still asking for money even though the campaign is over. They're still asking for money because they want to pay for these legal fees. Like, where is the shame? Where I, the level of narcissism, I guess, that this is? And of course, he's hooked up with the other narcissists. This is the other part of Comedy Gold. Now, Rudy is in charge of Trump's campaign lawsuits. Rudy freaking Giuliani is doing this because I guess nobody else wants to work for free because they ain't got no damn money. So Rudy said, I'll do it. Put me on TV. I'll do it. These two right here. As long as Rudy can be on camera, he's going to do it. And speaking of on camera, who saw Rudy in the movie, the Borat movie, How does he even show his face in public? How do these guys not have any freaking shame? Are you serious? Have y'all seen that movie? The new Borat film? It's not even new now. It's like, I don't know, probably a couple weeks old. The subsequent movie, blah, blah, blah. And if you've seen it, what are your thoughts on that? Leave it in the comments because we could talk about it. Because I don't see how anybody could not think that wasn't real. Rudy was absolutely ready to get his damn freak on. And there's just no shame or bottom to that. Like, he just did that. And then now he's doing more stuff. In less than a month, Rudy has embarrassed his family on TV screens across the country. And to be specific, because he did it more than once, I'm talking about number one, it was the hotel scene in the movie where he's literally trying to pull his dick out so he can have sex with a young reporter. Because you can argue me down, but that was real. And then a couple of weeks later, he leads this embarrassing press conference in front of the Four Seasons Landscaping. He had a mini meltdown when he learned in the press conference that they had called the election for Joe Biden. And he looked like a fool. And he's just a hot damn mess. Like, I don't know. This whole thing, I mean, this went from sugar to shit. And, I don't know Four Seasons Landscaping, but, God bless the small business, especially, in these days and times. And so they made the most of it. They actually used this press to help their business. And so they created shirts and bumper stickers that said Law and Order and Make America Rake Again. Kind of makes me think that they're Republican, but who knows? But you know what? They found a way to profit off of it, so whatever. Um, so yeah, that's just some of the stuff that's happened. That's some of the comedy that kind of came out of it, especially Rudy Giuliani. What happened to that guy? Like dementia. I mean, he still knows what he's doing. Trump went from Michael Cohen to Rudy Giuliani. Rudy just looks crazy. And Rudy on camera with that girl pulling his dick out. That's your person that you just put in charge of your legal defense that you're asking people to donate to. What the fuck's got to be on your mind to be pulling out your wallet and supporting this? What's on your mind to still be saying, yeah, I stand with these people? Like, I understand that they stood for maybe things that you wanted. I don't know, because limited government and not spending, like that kind of went away. So I'm not really sure what they stood for, except for being like anti-immigration and pro-life. Anti-immigrants, let me say that. Not anti-immigration. Anti... eh, mm, immigrant policy. I just need to make it clear that immigrants are people. Because the people are also pro-life. And that means you're pro-person. And these are people coming across the border. I just want to make that clear. Crossing borders or coming in ports or wherever they're coming from. They're people. Just reminding the pro-life folks that. Right? So, I wanted to say... So this is more like a wrap up, right? And the use of power. Let's just say this, and I'm speaking to my liberals here, my Democrats, because you all just don't really seem to like power. It's like, ooh, power, get away from me. Yuck, I'm just trying to change the world and make it a better place. So, the Republican Party, or should I say the Tea Party, because in my opinion, that's who this is. The Tea Party is showing that through this process and standing up for Donald Trump and allowing him to undermine democracy for the last 4 years, starting at the last election, it's showing that they don't really care about democracy or what's in the Bible, except for when it comes to homosexuality and maybe adultery, depending on who you are. Because with Donald Trump, who gives a shit? We don't care about adultery anymore. So what they're doing is standing back and standing by and allowing Trump to continue this ridiculous charade because he gives them power with their base. Something that they don't have on their own, like I've already said, but what they care about is power. See, Democrats try to convince the other side about their vision for the country. The Tea Party just takes the power and does whatever the fuck they want. They don't need to convince you at the other side. They don't need to convince you because you know what? They're going to make you bend over and take it regardless. It's something that I've really admired about the Tea Party for a while. And I think that that's why they don't like women like AOC and the progressive wing of the party. And they don't like them because they don't want to play nice either. They want power. They want power to bring in a more progressive agenda. And I think they know the progressive wing of the party would use their power just like the Republican Party, aka Tea Party, uses theirs. And I guess it's almost the same way that a lot of people might have feared black people, especially, when things were just starting to turn around. They didn't want to give black people rights. They were like, we've been keeping them down for hundreds of years. If we give them rights, they're going to turn on us. They're going to kill us because that's what we would do. If somebody kept us down like that, we would turn around and kill them. And so they have that power and they don't want to concede that power. They can probably fight with, who is it, Nancy and Chuck Schumer. They'll fight with them. But AOC and them, they're not interested in fighting. They want power. They want to make change. And that's frightening. So that's what I see. And because of that fear, they're aligning themselves with Donald Trump. And that's also dangerous because he's no friend. The second he gets a chance, he's going to go for himself. And those people are following him, not the party. So that's my wrap for tonight. I want to thank all the people who joined the live. I don't think we had anybody participate in the chat, but I saw a couple of people get on the live here and there. So I want to thank you for doing that. I'm still new to this, but the goal is definitely to stream here every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow me online at Black White, on Facebook at BWLib. I'm also on Twitter at the White Black Lib. And you can support the show using the link in the description box, so don't be afraid to hit that Cash App. If you're definitely checking this out after the live and just going back and watching the recording of one of the clips, definitely leave a comment. I want to be able to connect, argue, agree, build, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm here for it, so what else we got to do in Trump's pandemic America? Shit, Saturday night, you ain't got shit to do? Come on, hang out. Come and talk to me. So I'm not going to take up your whole day, about 9 to 9:30. I'm running a little bit late today because I started a little bit late. But I will check you out later. Peace.